The GMMK2, an update to the wildly popular original that looks to make it better in every single way. It's a simple starter board that should give plenty of value and be very easy to set up. But that's not what we're here for. We're here today to make the loudest quiet version of the GMMK2. That might sound crazy, but that's good. We are crazy here. Obviously, for the build itself, we'll be basing this off of a brand new GMMK2 bare bones kit. We're using new to me silent switches and some overly loud keycaps with an overly loud paint scheme. See, that's the loud and the quiet part. It's genius. Speaking of two-tone for the case, let's get that prepped for painting. Step one is to break the entire board down. We need to crack this thing open and get every single piece we can out of here. We definitely don't want to get primer and spray paint on the PCB. Probably wouldn't work at that point. Step two is to move the top plate and case to my professional level spray painting studio. You also might have one. It's called my garage. But what makes mine professional is the broken cardboard box that I use to hold everything. We should probably, as part of a character of this channel, we should name that cardboard box at some point. This is absolutely one of the most enjoyable parts of the whole build for me because of how therapeutic it is to scuff up and totally deface what the manufacturer wanted the board to originally look like. For color combinations today, I think we're gonna go for a glossy blue, matte white combination. I've already got those colors on hand, which saves me from needing to drive to the hardware store again. I assume my local hardware store thinks that I'm up to no good because of how much spray paint I buy. Now, conventional wisdom says you can't mix glossy and matte color combinations because conventional wisdom is all about making loud things loud and quiet things quiet. But we're mixing that up today. Conventional wisdom can go somewhere else. You're not wanted here. While the primer dries, we need to get the most important part of any board done, taking care of the stabilizers. I was going to put on a fancy set of stabs for this build, but I think keeping it as much of the bare bones kit together as possible is pretty important to show how well this board can really work for anybody. So a pretty simple lube dielectric grease drill, and these are good to go. They did come lubed from the factory, but they weren't too bad. I know that sounds counterintuitive to not want that, but this saves a ton of time because I've yet to really come across a decent factory lube job. Normally you have to spend more time fixing what the factory did than just taking care of the stabilizers on your own. So we'll set these aside and head back outside to start with the actual painting. When we started painting, I changed my mind about the color of the board. I liked the thought of the blue and the white, but that wasn't loud enough for me. So we're doing orange and blue. It's like the Castlevania colors. If you ever played Castlevania, orange and blue are opposites, so that should make it as loud as scientifically possible. The paint is yet again drying, so let's head back to the lubing station called my office desk and start getting the switches sorted. I can't get over how cool these switches look, and even before lubing them, they sound pretty darn good. You can buy them pre-lubed from GMMK, but I didn't because there is just something therapeutic about lubing switches. I wouldn't want to do it for a full-time job, but twice a month for these videos, it's been nice to just shut my brain off and watch an overly long video essay about a game that I'm never gonna play. It was kind of hard to shut the old brain off this time because these switches were a huge pain in the butt to get open. You couldn't use the claw cracker. They were almost like Otemu, but not. They were just a pain in the butt. After 2 hours of learning about the in-depth lore of a video game where magic and technology combine, let's go quickly hit the case and plate with some clear coat so we can get the rest of the components ready. Okay, and we are back in the studio and we've got everything prepped for reassembly. I'm really excited. This color turned out so good. I know I say that every week, but holy crap. I was really scared about when I made the switch to orange and blue, but that is about as loud as a keyboard's ever gonna get. So let's start reassembling this darn thing. I think this board has been fantastic for all of the cool stuff you get with it. Like, you get all sorts of good little pieces and parts for this, if I can remember how they all go back together. Might be nice. There we go. Okay, there we go. You get foam, you get weights, you get all sorts of stuff. Like, normally, if you are a regular viewer of this channel, you'll know that I really like doing silicone pores and I like stuffing the case full of, you know, whether it's tape or whatever, to make sure that it sounds as dense and not hollow as possible, because this is what a hollow board sounds like. Even that doesn't sound terrible. Like, this is not even, without anything else, it doesn't sound awful. But then you get all of these weights put in, and it's just next level incredible. Like, here, you're gonna listen to this. The hollowness is taken care of before we've done anything. If that's not incredible, I don't know how else to impress you. That's the coolest part. Let's get this back on here, make sure we can actually plug it in when we are all good to go. If we can't use it, then there's no point in building it. And just apologies right off the bat if you hear some outside noises. My neighbors have started adding an addition to their house, and I thought I had started recording during the workers' lunch break, but apparently they are now back much sooner than I anticipated. So if you hear it, I apologize. Hopefully it won't be too distracting. Boom, look at that. Like, we didn't have to do a silicone pour, we didn't have to add tape, and this is already the most dense sounding board I think I've ever come across on this channel. That sounds so incredible. Look, we even get case foam. This is gonna be like an IKEA desk where we might have a few extra pieces left over at the end because we did not totally put it back together, because I don't know if you know this, but recreating a keyboard on camera is much harder than just doing it at your office at your leisure. There we go. Stabilizers are back in. I love having all of this stuff just included. I didn't have to resource any of this myself. All I had to do today was get the spray paint. As somebody that builds a lot of keyboards, if you wanted to get all of these pieces and parts by yourself and you bought it from, you know, a more reputable place or a higher end place, like all of this stuff together, I think is gonna cost you more than just this kit by itself. So there we go. We've got the plate and the PCB back together. Now we have to plug it in, or it will not work. Ask me how many times I've forgotten to plug the PCB back into the USB-C daughter board. The answer is more than I'm willing to admit to here on a YouTube video. Ho ho, that looks phenomenal. So good. Okay, don't get too excited, Gary. Let's actually see how this looks once it's all screwed down and official. That looks so good. Holy crap, team, look at that. I'm kind of speechless. I'm really impressed with how good these keyboards have been turning out over the last couple of weeks. That's gonna be a super quiet board. All right, next step, let's pop all of the switches on here. Boom, and everything, oh! That sounds so good. I am really happy with how this is turning out so far. But okay, keycaps next. Okay, boom, that is the keyboard assembled, and I think you're gonna have a hard time saying that this is not the loudest keyboard. I think this is the loudest keyboard that I've ever owned or seen, and I think it looks great. Feels incredible. It feels so substantial, but okay, how does it sound? That might be the quietest keyboard I've ever built. That sounds incredible. Those silver silent switches are so nice to type on. That is no joke. This is probably going to become my main keyboard from now on. And if you like this video, click here to watch me build the quietest keyboard for $25. Thanks for watching.